I was totally skeptical. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. I really look forward to my workouts. I think my diet was pretty much wheat, dairy and sugar before. I've never been one for exercising madly. I've never made an investment that has had such an amazing return.
Hello, my name is Laura and I am a senior support coach here at Trinity. I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing Trinity member Isabel, who has had a remarkable journey in the past 13 months. Not only is she 1.5 stone and 2 dress sizes down, Isabel has blossomed in self-confidence and seen a marked improvement in her memory. She's a breath of fresh air, and I'm sure you'll all enjoy this interview. So, Isabel, let's paint a picture for our listeners. Who are you and where do you come from?
So I'm 56. I live in Herefordshire, near Wales, and we've lived here for about 13 years. I have had various jobs, started off in conferences and exhibitions, and then we moved out to Herefordshire and I started working with horses. And I've got a 27-year-old daughter. She was born. My weight kind of went up, and sort of steadily went up and up and up. And then I got to a point where nothing was working anymore. So I was looking for some improving situation.
That's a very common theme, that trying everything, nothing seems to be working. So where were you before you started Trinity? You touched on that a little bit. Your weight's kind of going up and up. What was your confidence like? What was your life like before joining Trinity?
It was really bad. And funnily enough, when I saw the advert, I was sitting on the sofa, slumped, playing Candy Crush Saga, which I just couldn't get away from. And Rob appeared and was talking about Trinity. And I wasn't working anymore because my memory was so bad. I just couldn't get my act together. I was thinking I was going to have to give up the horses because I was too heavy, and I was finding, all this manual handling quite hard, and feeling really pretty desperate, completely unmotivated, sort of inert, really, and thinking, that's it now. I'm going to disappear into old age and things are going to get worse and worse, and welcome to that sort of thing.
Wow. So you touched on memory there. Was that post-menopause?
No, perimenopause.
Mm-hmm. So it was, thinking about stopping work, stopping riding horses, which we will touch on in a bit as well. That's pretty hard place to be. So I'm guessing when you saw Rob, you thought this could be it. Were you skeptical before, when you signed up?
I was totally skeptical. I listened to him and I thought this man's been in my head. Thought he's seen everything that's going on in my head, and here he is saying, here are all the answers. And I just thought, oh, no way. And, I went to look at the website and there were all these stories of these women all sort of saying a similar sort of thing. And I just thought, my dad always said there's no such thing as a free lunch. And I saw all these things and just thought, nah. However, I'm so desperate, I will give it a go. Yeah.
Wow. And you also talked about before that you used to try different things. So what had you tried before Trinity?
So I was told I had polycystic ovarian syndrome in my sort of late 20s, early 30s. And so I went on a very specific diet for that. And that helped. That really, really helped a lot. I've never been one for exercising madly. So yeah, that diet really, that seemed to work. It seemed to shift the weight. But I think by the time I was sort of approaching my 50s, it just wasn't working anymore. It stopped working and I was just getting heavier and heavier. I think I hit about 13 stone at one stage. But that was a few years before I joined Trinity.
Right. And what were the changes you made that had originally worked in the changes in your diet for PCOS?
It was a very prescriptive sort of menu. There were certain foods that I had to eat at each meal, sort of cereal for breakfast, And it started off with every 15 minutes you had a tiny bit of something. So a tiny bit of pepper or a tiny bit of, was really bizarre. So I had to do that for a couple of weeks. And then, then after that, very prescriptive meals. So, breakfast was kind of Weetabix or something like that. And then lunch was a baked potato or rice, or I can't remember what the other thing was, a bit of protein and veg, and then sort of similar type thing for supper. So it was incredibly restricted.
Mm.
You know, there were loads of things I couldn't eat.
Oh,
it was quite a while ago though. So you're testing this amazing memory
yeah. Well,
that I've got now.
Clearly come back now. Well, that's interesting that that worked at that time, even though it was prescriptive, a lot of effort. So joining Trinity, obviously we're not as prescriptive. How did you find the diet moving into Trinity? Because it's completely different, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was given my calorie allowance, and it took a little while to kind of get used to what that involved. But I was absolutely amazed that you could pretty much eat anything you liked. Obviously, there are those 4 things that are removed at the beginning for the first 2 weeks, and then you slowly introduce them back. But yeah, I was. In fact, it was amazing because I found myself trying all sorts of foods that I haven't tried before, and anything goes apart from those 4 things. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yes, and those 4 foods we cut out initially. The only time we ask you to cut anything out, particularly, is the wheat, alcohol, dairy, sugar.
Mm.
And I think for some people it can seem
Yeah.
daunting. How did you find the first 2 weeks?
It started off really tough. I think my diet was pretty much wheat, dairy, and sugar before I joined Trinity.
Yeah.
So the first few days are really, really tough, but it got easier. And then, by the end of the 2 weeks, and in fact, the difference cutting out sugar, just astonishing, absolutely astonishing difference to all manner of things in my world. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what in particular did you notice from sugar? I know what you mean. What did you find?
Yeah, just sort of waking up in the morning and not feeling glued together. And again, the memory was already sort of improving. I just felt much more with it, and much more comfortable in my body, you know.
Oh, that's brilliant. And so we'll go on to now. What has changed in your life since doing these Trinity habits? We've talked about food, but there's been exercise that you've restarted. What's changed?
Oh my gosh, I've been having conversations about, barbells and plates, weight plates and things like that. Never ever thought that would happen. I really look forward to my workouts. I absolutely love them. It's just so much fun. What else? What's changed? Obviously the diet. I'm eating lentils was not a word that ever entered my vocabulary pre Trinity, but actually I found out they're really not that bad. And the sort of quest for high protein has brought me to all sorts of new exciting foods and stuff. So that's great. I've I managed to get a job extraordinarily, but I landed up doing an interview which I would not have had the courage to do before Trinity, and smashed it despite the imposter coming in saying, "What are you doing? Who do you think you are?" And then another voice saying, "No, you're absolutely fine. You've got it." That was game changing and a real sort of seminal moment. What else? What else has changed? I've just got so much energy and motivation. Everything's changed. Really, everything's changed.
That's so
Yeah.
broad. I love the confidence. What changed, about going for this job? Was that down to, the resilience from doing these workouts, or the food, or even the mindset stuff that we work on? We do a lot about mindsets and thinking about thoughts and how to keep this long term. Did any of that contribute to this, newfound confidence going for this job?
It's a really good question. I've been asking myself. I've been sort of trying to pin down exactly what's made the difference to the sort of, this flood of self-confidence and things. And I don't feel like I can attribute it to any one thing. I mean, certainly with the workouts, I've achieved things that I never thought I would. So I imagine that must have made a difference. There have been a couple of books I've read because of Trinity, which have on sort of mindset, which have really, really helped. I suppose I've what's changed? I've had terrible trouble with binging, and that's pretty much under control now. And I think I can't put it down to any one thing, Laura. I really can't. I can't. I actually ended up having. Sorry. I landed up seeing a psychotherapist. I saw him, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. And there were a couple of things he said that I thought, oh, yeah, actually, maybe you're right. There are a few things he said that I thought, you don't know anything about me. What on earth are you talking about? So, and that was during Trinity. I don't honestly think it made that much difference, but I do think, all the stuff I've learned at Trinity has made a huge difference. Yeah.
Imagine living in a home that you've cherished for years.
You've done your best to keep it in good condition,
But no matter how much you clean, paint, or repair,
the problems keep piling up.
the cracks are showing, the roof is leaking, and it feels like everything is getting worse despite your best efforts.
For many women, losing weight around menopause feels just like that,
You've tried diets, workouts, and advice,
but the results don't come and the frustration keeps growing.
That's where our Fit Over 40 private coaching program comes in.
Think of us as your expert renovation team.
We know exactly how to fix the root issues, rebuild your confidence, and create lasting results, just like restoring a home to its best condition.
If you're ready to finally see results that last, click the link in the description below now. Let us help you restore the body and the life you deserve.
I love that. All these little tiny things build up, and accumulate and bring this confidence and this energy that you've described and this memory. And I agree, it probably isn't just one thing. And I love that you've really taken it upon yourself head on to deal with things that you found hard. You touched on the binge eating, which is incredibly common. And I know that we've talked about this as, I've moved over as your coach, which you had Danny originally. And we talk about it, and you've taken it upon yourself to do the mindset work and to read the books, haven't you? And is there this is probably a tricky one again, but is there anything that you would give advice to someone who might be struggling with the binge eating?
Gosh, well, first of all, I'd say read Brain Over Binge.
Yeah.
Because that really hit home. It was so spot on. I think that would be the first thing I'd say. And the other thing I'd say is, which actually is touched on in the book, this whole thing about habits, and it is something you can change. It's taken me 2 years or whatever, but certainly at the beginning I thought, I'm never, ever, ever going to be able to stop this. It's totally out of my control. It's probably because of things that happened when I was young and all that sort of thing, but actually it's not. And there have been other habits of mine that, I've changed in the last couple of years. So yeah, have faith, because it is possible to overcome it, even though you won't believe it. You won't think it is possible. It really is.
I think that's so powerful to think that there's a way out. Like you say, I think possibly before Trinity, you can feel, that maybe all is lost. And you described that at the beginning of, oh, well, this is it. I may as well just accept this is my new life. But now, you're lifting barbells, you're lifting incredible weights, and you've got a lid on this eating habit that you had. And talk to me about your horse riding, because I know that we talked about this a few weeks ago. How's that changed? Because you were going to give it up.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's just amazing. So I I compete, got a little horse, so I compete at dressage, and there are sort of various different levels of dressage. And then within each level, there are various different sort of qualifiers and championships and things that you sort of go through. And you, so these tests are sort of 5 minutes long, and you have to remember what you're doing where and where you're going, which way you're turning, all those sorts of things in an arena.
Gosh.
And so I was competing at sort of level number 4. There are about 10 or 11 levels. I was competing to actually level number 3 when I started Trinity. And I was, it just got to the stage where I couldn't remember a dressage test. And whilst you can have them called at the first sort of levels, as you progress towards championships, when you get to a championship, you can't have your test called. So, and I was thinking, I'm just going to have to, I can't do this anymore because I'm not going to be able to remember what I'm doing. So since then, we've progressed 2 further levels. We're now competing at medium, which I never thought would ever be a thing. I didn't think I'd get up to the level before medium, but now we're competing at medium, and I'm remembering my tests. It's just amazing. And and in fact, the horse is getting better. The whole exercise thing and working on my core, that's really important for riding, for dressage. So that's made a big difference to both of us. I think, he's much happier because I've got my stability and my independence, whereas before I was just sort of flopping about, and he was having to really carry me. But now it's just fantastic. It's so special. It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah, unfathomable.
So special. And I know that you talk about, all the other stuff that comes with even the competing bit. You have to look after the horse, and you have to, clean the stables, and all the physical effort that comes with. You have to be strong, so it's nice to hear you say, that you're noticing that strength and it's impacting your hobbies. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah. And in fact, when I'm there's I've got another job where I look after 5 horses for somebody who lives here locally, and it's quite hard work. You're pushing wheelbarrows through very deep mud, and hoiking great big trugs full of water, and and it's been absolutely great because I do it intermittently. Each time I go back, oh, that bucket's a bit lighter than it was last time, and the wheelbarrow's going more easily through the mud than it was last time, and real good yardsticks of how much stronger I'm getting.
That's really exciting. And so for you, you're now, you've reached your target. You've lost an incredible amount of weight, but not only that, your confidence and your memory. So what are you working on now from Trinity? What's your current goal?
So I had 3 goals for this year, and now you've put me on the spot, so I can't remember what they were. One was to sleep better, and Trinity have been great in all the tips for how to sleep better, and so trying to put all of those in place. That's going reasonably well. Get my business off the ground, which I didn't think I'd even be doing any at this point. So I've been sort of doing some work to get my first contract. It's literally a very new thing. So there's that, and I think my third one's to get stronger. So yes, as you say, I've bought a barbell. I've actually got a bench in the garage, which I never thought would happen. And in fact, funnily enough, the garage, the sort of horse stuff is taking a bit of a back seat in the garage, and all this new equipment is taking over. So yeah, those are my goals for this year, those 3 things.
So exciting. I was extremely excited about your barbell and the fact that, you are getting more confident, approaching workouts. Who'd have thought? It's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so, obviously with Trinity, we have, our check-in process, and that you obviously have assigned a coach. So, mainly Danny took you through this process. How important was it to have that coach with you on this journey?
It was so important. And in fact, on reflection, there were there were a few occasions, you know, I've been fairly motivated the whole way through, but there are a few occasions when I'd think, early on, I'd think, I don't really want to do the workout, or I'm going to just sit here and eat chocolate, and, you know, as you do. And I'd think, oh God, but if I don't do the workout, if I don't eat chocolate, I will have let Danny down, you know, and I can't let Danny down. So sometimes that was the motivation that kept me going. And yeah, the accountability, you know, it's such a joy to be able to go back and share with someone who totally gets it. All the little details, and you know they totally get it. You know, whereas I can tell my husband, or my mum or my sister or whoever, oh, well, you know, this week I did my 4 workouts. And oh yeah, you know, well done, great, you know, that's great. But actually, you know, someone who wants to know how much you lifted and all that sort of thing, it's, yeah, so much better. Yeah, really key.
That's exciting. And another strand to the coaching is the support network, you know, which I know you're involved in, with, you know, coming on some of our retreats and in-person events. How important has it been to find like-minded people who are on the same journey as you?
Do you know, I've actually met my twin through Trinity, and everyone I've come across has just been absolutely wonderful. But there's one particular person who, we're just exactly the same. I've never come across anyone quite as similar. And in fact, we were talking about this the other day. I only met her in Crete in September. You know, we were talking about how actually we're each other's armour. That was just such a perfect description. You know, we're in touch every day, quick voice notes and stuff, and just basically both saying the same thing to the other because we're both thinking the same thing. That's been, you know, just that would have been worth the whole thing, if you see what I mean. You know, I would have joined Trinity just for that because it's been so valuable. Yeah.
Gosh, that's so, I didn't know that. And I think that's incredible to have found someone who supports you on this journey and gets you and you can chat to every day. I mean, that's incredibly special. So there's an enormous amount of things you've got from this process. So what would you say to someone who was thinking, maybe I should do something like Trinity? What would you say to them?
I think I'd want to know probably what was stopping them, obviously, because, you know, if it was financial, I'd say actually there's no better. I don't think anything has paid back as much as this has. I've never made an investment that has had such an amazing return. Oh God, what would my advice be? I'd say just do it. You know, there are so many. You can't. You know, reading all the reviews and stuff, they do all say the same sorts of things, and probably a lot of the things that I've said today. And you read them and you think, yeah. But actually, when these things actually happen, they're so much bigger than they look like on paper. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I really do. I think you've got real lived experience, and you did go off a hunch and a hope that this would work. You've gone for it. You know, you can reap the rewards because you've got so involved in it and you've really worked incredibly hard. And I think this is a hard question, if you could pick one win from the whole experience that has been the biggest joy to you, what would it be?
It would be, I don't know if I could say her name, but it would be meeting this person that I met. Actually, I mean, that is a tough question because there are so many things I want to say, but actually that would be the main thing, because she's kind of an embodiment of all the things that we've gone through in Trinity.
I think that's amazing. I think that's so special and unique, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I mean, the wins and the progress you've made is just scoped into every part of your life, and it's incredibly exciting. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure that everyone listening will have been really grateful to hear your advice. So thank you, Isabel, and just keep going, especially on.
Sorry, just Yeah, just finally,
Yeah.
the other thing I would probably say to someone is the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it.
Well, I think that's completely brilliant advice. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been a total pleasure. And I know that we speak every week, so I will be speaking to you very soon. But thank you for your time.
A pleasure.
If you're fed up with trying everything and seeing no results,
Watching your weight creeping up and struggling to fit into your clothes,
and you're looking for the fastest and easiest way to get your ideal weight,
and never have to worry about your weight or health again,
you can save yourself years of trial and error by letting us take care of the hard work for you in our Fit Over 40 private coaching program.
Over the past decade, our world-class team have personally guided more than 7,000 women to take back control of their health and confidence, and more importantly, maintain those results for life.
If you're ready to finally get results that last and find out how we can help you do that too, click the link in the description below to get the full details now.